Today on Public Eye News, NMU hosts a theater festival and Michigan Tech is finalizing their winter carnival.
Caleb Rydell will have a look at our winter weather forecast, and Max Stevens will have details on the Detroit Lions' new head coach. I'm Anthony Celia.
And I'm Todd Rose. Welcome to your Public Eye News. Tomorrow night begins Northern Michigan University's third annual Theater Fringe Festival. The event will give attendees the opportunity to see their 3 original student works. The 3 performing arts students cut the script, casted the roles, and are directing them with the help of NMU faculty member Paul Truckee. The Fringe Fest plays from February 8th through February 10th, and again the next week from the 15th through the 17th. You can purchase tickets through the Barry Events Center, NMU Bookstore, Forrest Roberts Theater box office, or nmu.edu/tickets. And today, the U.S. Mint is officially releasing the Michigan State Quarter featuring part of Munising's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Since 2010, 5 state quarters have been released each year as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, with each state and territory represented. The National Park Service has collaborated with the U.S. Mint for the last year, where they chose Chapel Rock out of 12 different designs. Student Susan Reese, Chief of Interpretation and Education of Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, says that this recognition is great for Pictured Rocks, Munising, Grand Marais, and the entire UP.
And Myths and Tales of the Past is the theme of this year's Winter Carnival hosted by Michigan Tech. Since 1922, the university has drawn in people from all over to the events. One of the main events is that of the snow building statue. It is split into 2 different categories, being the month-long and the all-nighter statue building contest. Students started the month-long construction on January 15th, and the all-nighter competition will start tonight. Judges base their scoring on the size and splendor of the statue, along with the whiteness of the snow and overall originality of the design. A lot of hard work goes into this event, so good luck to everyone who is participating. And Laura Coleman is the first female president in Bay College's history. She pursued her furthering education on both part and full-time durations, all while raising her own family. In Missouri, Coleman helped create a campus for community college and later went on to gain a PhD with aspirations to become a university president. Coleman says, quote, "When you don't have a college degree, you won't get to move forward in your profession because you don't have the boxes checked, you don't have the knowledge base that your employers want you to have," end quote.
And after a year of record-breaking sales at both Stucco's Pub and Grill and Breakers Roadhouse, their owners are planning to give back to the Marquette community. The owners of the 2 bars will be donating approximately $7,500 to local nonprofits. Each month, a chosen group such as UPAWS, UP Honor Flight, the Warming Center, and UP Girls Empowerment has been selected to receive $500 each. A complete list of recipients can be found on the Stucco's Pub and Grill Facebook page. And Governor Rick Snyder's budget recommendation presentation today will bring roughly 350 state workers back to correctional facility kitchens starting this summer. The Michigan Department of Corrections has come to a mutual agreement with Trinity Services Group to end their current partnership when their contract expires. While food service contracts achieved savings for taxpayers, the MDOC came to the conclusion that ongoing challenges with staffing vacancies, turnover, and a recent request by Trinity for additional funding warranted a return to state-run operations. And stay tuned, because after this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. This week on UTR, it's a road trip on our own Route 66. We'll float over a long lake, show you where fish come from, and stop for some smoky, savory selections. Then we count in a kayak, meet ice cream-making mammals, and even see some groovy gators. This isn't under the radar. You just gotta see.
Thursday at 9:30, Friday at 5, and Saturday night at 10:30.
And welcome back. I95 in Lake Worth, Florida has been shut down until further notice as of this morning. An accident involving 8 separate vehicles has resulted in 2 fatalities and one of the cars catching fire. 2 other people have been sent to the hospital for various injuries. The pileup was not directly affected by an earlier incident where a man was fatally shot while driving on the same interstate. Palm Beach Police Department is not releasing much information regarding the incident at this time, but have stated in a tweet that it was an officer-involved shooting. More details are sure to follow as time goes on. And casino mogul Steve Wynn resigned overnight as CEO of Wynn Resorts amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Vladimir Duthiers has more from New York.
This is Encore.
For decades, Steve Wynn has been a titan on the Las Vegas Strip.
Stand up, Steve. Stand up.
But after the 2016 presidential campaign, he also set his sights on Washington.
Steve is always calling. He's always got advice, right, Steve?
The longtime business rival and friend of Donald Trump served as the Republican National Committee finance chair until his resignation last month, after the Wall Street Journal published accusations that Wynn pressured employees to perform sex acts, and in one case, forced a manicurist to have sex with him. He allegedly settled with her for $7.5 million.
While you visit Wynn Las Vegas, you don't miss a thing.
His resignation from Wynn Resorts came a day after the Las Vegas Review-Journal admitted it held a story in 1998, alleging Wynn pressured a server at one of his hotels into sex. Wynn allegedly told the woman it was because he wanted to experience sex with a grandmother. The Las Vegas Review-Journal is currently owned by one of Wynn's rivals, Sheldon Adelson.
Raising money isn't so much the core of what I'm doing.
Last year, Wynn spoke to CBS This Morning about his RNC role and his company.
I'd like to be known as a guy that can design a building and is close to his employees.
Vladimir Duthiers, CBS News.
Senate leaders announced they've reached an agreement on a 2-year spending deal. The bipartisan agreement is likely to be added to the short-term spending bill the House passed yesterday and intended to avoid a government shutdown tomorrow night at midnight. The bill significantly increases government spending on defense and domestic programs, but does not address immigration reform, which Congress is dealing with separately. Senate Majority Leader McConnell promised Democrats a vote on the DACA program, and the two sides seem to be working together. However, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says she will not support a long-term bill without a commitment to protect Dreamers. And the U.S. says it will unveil its toughest and most aggressive sanctions ever against North Korea. This could dampen hopes the two sides will meet at the Winter Olympics. This morning, Kim Jong-un's sister, who is a key advisor, was added to North Korea's official Olympic delegation that will go to South Korea. Ben Tracy is at the Winter Olympics site in Pyeongchang.
We will not allow North Korean propaganda to hijack the message and imagery of the Olympic Games.
While announcing a new round of sanctions, Vice President Pence did not leave much room for Olympic diplomacy with North Korea.
That North Korea is the most tyrannical and oppressive regime on the planet.
Just before Pence spoke, North Korea announced it was sending Kim Jong-un's younger sister, Kim Yo-jong, to the Games in South Korea, the first person from the ruling family to cross the border. She's believed to be trusted by her brother and occupies a high-ranking role in the regime's propaganda department. Sending her could be a sign of Kim Jong-un's seriousness about improving relations. But she may not receive a warm welcome. On Tuesday, protesters greeted a group of 140 North Korean performers when they arrived in South Korea.
North Korea is very dangerous, you know?
Their sign showing the crossed-out face of Kim Jong-un. South Korea has tried to reduce tensions ahead of the Olympics, getting the U.S. to agree to delay their joint military exercises and allowing North Korea's flag to fly at Olympic venues. But the insults are also flying again, with North Korean state media calling President Trump a lunatic and warning that America will, quote, go to hell if it attacks North Korea. John Delury is an expert on Korean relations.
The key is you have to get the United States in the room with North Korea so that they can figure out what are some positive steps that can be taken. In the absence of that, the Olympics ends and we're back to fire and fury.
North Korea is planning on holding a military parade on Thursday in its capital, but U.S. officials say there are no indications that it plans to parade its missiles, which could be a small gesture to South Korea on the eve of the Winter Olympics. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Pyeongchang, South Korea.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
on American Epic.
This is the kind of machine they recorded on in 1929.
That is wild. So who should we record in this 20s style? Let's record everybody in this style. Rappers. She's on the road again. Pop singers. Country artists. Got that old-fashioned love in my...
Recording here is like that time machine. It brought me back to that world.
The American Epic Sessions.
Friday night at 9 after Off the Record.
Welcome back. I'm Caleb Rydell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me on the NMU campus, we got some sun poking out. Hopefully it's going to melt out some of that snow, but it is still quite cold out there. Taking a look at our current conditions, it's cloudy outside with a temperature of 18, winds out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.30 inches and falling. Taking a look at tonight, we're going to see some clouds again with a low of 1, winds out of the west-southwest at 7 miles per hour. And taking a look at tomorrow, we're going to see the sun poke out again, partly cloudy with a high of 16 and winds out of the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Taking a look across the UP, we're going to see some sun coming through the middle of the UP. 18 in Sault Ste. Marie, 17 in Manistee, Escanaba with 16, down in Menominee 15. And if we look at the western half of the UP, we're going to see Iron Mountain with 16, Ironwood with 11, up in the Keweenaw, Houghton 11, and back here in Marquette, 18 degrees and cloudy. Taking a look ahead, we're going to see that Friday we have a high of 14, a low of -1, finally getting below that 0 mark, but we got some sun on that day. Saturday, high of 20, low of 5, sunny, and Sunday, high of 24, a low of 11, and sunny. All right, Max, well, looks like we got some sun poking out, and I hear there's some sun poking out possibly for Detroit coming up here.
A ray of hope shines down on Ford Field, Caleb. Today, the Detroit Lions host a press conference to officially introduce Matt Patricia to Detroit as the 27th head coach of the franchise. In his time as the New England defensive coordinator, Patricia ran a bend-don't-break-minded defense, frequently giving up a lot of yards but hardly allowing teams into the end zone. Since Patricia took over as the DC back in 2012, Patricia's defense has given up only 19.2 points per game, second only to Seattle. Patricia will look to lead the Lions to their first division title since 1993 and their second playoff win in the Super Bowl era and beyond. And the Indianapolis Colts confirmed in a statement released last night that Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels has decided not to accept a head coaching job. In the past 48 hours, Patriots owner Robert Kraft began talking to McDaniels and wound up sweetening his contract to encourage him to stay in New England. The move will help keep some continuity in the Patriots organization as they're already losing their defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia. The Indianapolis Colts also said in their statement they are sad and disappointed that McDaniels has elected not to take the job, but they will resume their coaching search immediately. And yet another big-name player and all-star went down in the NBA last night. This time it was New York Knicks forward Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis tore his left ACL 3 minutes into the second quarter of last night's game against the Milwaukee Bucks. After throwing down a one-handed dunk, Porzingis awkwardly landed on the foot of Giannis Antetokounmpo and went down. He was assisted off the court by 2 teammates and could miss as much as a full year before he's ready to return to action. The injury is a devastating one for the Knicks, who are looking to build around the 22-year-old All-Star. Sitting at 23 and 32, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Knicks give their young players plenty of minutes and tank the rest of the year to secure a high first-round draft pick. Well, Anthony, I don't know what's been going on in the NBA as of late because it seems like everybody is going down.
Yeah, it seems like a really bad time. I don't understand how everyone just keeps getting injured. It must be that time of the year or something.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.